Goshin, The Art of Self-Preservation, written and narrated by Deena, Naidu. Eastern martial arts was always surrounded by mystery. There was something about it that gave it an inner sense, which takes it beyond the physical world, transcends the mind plane, and goes deep into a spiritual dimension. This story reveals its secret. It ties up the loose ends and draws the reader into a greater dimension of truth. This is a story that was never told before. What is going to intrigue the reader, impress those on the spiritual path, and bond martial artists worldwide is those things contained in this adventure. It is what we all relate to. Where did this art come from before Japan, before China and India? Is this a myth or legend? You, the reader, you, the audience, you, the observer, make up your own mind. The secret revealed, the art that never died. Here is a story of the mysterious creation of an art of self-defense, which the all-knowing power of goodness had designed to save a righteous community from the perils of darkness, and through its travels, protect the good people of the world from the clutches of evil. From the land of the Ark comes a tale of a legend that began in a distant country some 5,000 years ago. The story began in a far-off land called Bharat, a country divided by many empires. In this land, there was one great kingdom, located in the far northern reaches of the country called Eusadia. It was known as the Kingdom of Many Fortunes. It was covered with many thousands of acres of luscious green country. The belief was that the vegetation grew the moment the seeds touched the ground. Seasonal rains came like clockwork, and harsh weather conditions were virtually non-existent. A range of mountains to its northern borders protected the country from heavy winds. To its deep south, beyond the borders, lay barren lands of desert, and the sea to its east. Reaching for many miles on its western sides, it was filled with thick forest, and within its center was the great golden temple named Dharma, when translated means goodness. The mountains were the source of the mighty Sangiva River. This river ran across the country and flowed through to many other kingdoms. The blessings of the flow of Eusadia's Sangiva River benefited many thousands of people in distant lands of many kingdoms, who otherwise would have been deprived of water. This kingdom was ruled by a leader whose name was Shama. He loved his people, who were known as the Eusadians, and his people adored him and his family. The king created laws that suited his nation. It had easy governing laws because of the loving attitude of its citizens to each other. The people of this land knew that it was in their best interest to be on the path of righteousness. Very seldom did they divert to anything that was unkind or selfish. The laws of this land were based on right conduct and non-violence. In many ways, Eusadia was very different to any of the other kingdoms of Bharat. The Eusadians were also the envy of many kingdoms in the region. This was a land of peace, love and harmony. They certainly were an evolved community, as they lived above and beyond what would be considered ordinary. Ahead of community values, known as the brotherhood of man, the Eusadians had another relationship that led to even a greater harmonious life, as they chose to be one with nature. The general belief of the people of this time and place was that nature is the breadwinner of life. Without nature, life will cease. They were vegetarians and believed that by eating meat, their spiritual vibration will be lowered, and also that the communication between the divine and themselves would fade away. They also thought that human beings and animals were brothers, and that animals were traveling on the same journey, but for divine reasons had a belated start. They lived by the rule plan to protect rather than plan for selfish gain. For this and many reasons, it was said that the kingdom was the next step to heaven. Governing was easy for the king because the residents of this land were law-abiding. There was one problem though. People did not understand what it was to be terrified, as they had never had the occasion to be frightened. They lived under a protected and safe environment. The meaning of Eusadian, when divided, was Uso, those who have traveled far in terms of many birds, and Dian, keepers of supreme knowledge. They had a religion known as goodness. In their ancient language of Sanskrit, it was better known as Dharma. The people of this kingdom lived in harmony for many centuries and existed under a protected life, until one day, without warning, came an invading force of hordes of marauding immigrants. They came from a tribe known as the Dalams, which means without leadership. Their name depicts the type of people they were. They arrived from beyond the country's huge northern mountain ranges. These were barbarians by nature and sadly had no concept of the true meaning of life. All they knew was a barbaric lifestyle created by the environment in which they lived. There was a situation of a mixture of two extremes of people who were now on the same land, one heavenly righteous and the other lawlessly evil.